I called Mitzi to tell her what happened. And Mitzi was like, wow, stay away from him. You know, I basically told her the whole story. I'm like, Mitzi, he's stealing comedians' material and doing their closing bits right before he brings them up on stage. When he's there, we flash the light so that people know that he's in the audience so you don't do your best shit.
I would just do crowd work, and then Tommy would get mad at me all the time. Why don't you do your set? I'm not gonna do my set in front of that guy.
Because he was a notorious joke thief, and there were comics, a lot of my good buddies would not go on stage if he was in the room.
I remember in the beginning hearing that a lot. Write something so specific that no one can steal it.
And then an hour later, I get a call from Tommy telling me that I'm banned. I go, I just got off the phone with Mitzi. I go, if Mitzi gave me a spot, I go, she gave me a spot. Oh, Mitzi didn't know. She doesn't understand. She doesn't understand what the problem is. I go, if you choose that path, I go, I'm not coming back.
But why didn't you get him banned?
I couldn't. I wasn't big enough. My stand-up career hadn't taken off the way his had.
And then everyone got mad at Joe because Carlos had his show that was doing pretty well.
With all the beefing that went on in the background with a lot of different comics, everybody built up teams.
He was very apprehensive of coming back here because of the terrible experience. Like, he did so much for the club. He purchased the sound equipment in this room, and he gave so much to this club, and he really got the shaft in that whole Mencia fallout.
When he got thrown out, you know, Joey Diaz and some of the guys that were like the lifeblood of this place got sent away. And so, yeah, went through this dismal time. But
Mitzi felt that Carlos Mencia was going to be the new Paul Rodriguez. And I think that she loved Paul so much that she wanted that.
So, well, Carlos is going to start packing the club out. And then like a week later, Carlos is like, hey, don't put my name on the marquee. I don't want people knowing I'm going to pop in. And then the crowds never came.
Then there was a slow corrosion of his reputation, and the store slid.
All of a sudden, it was like the bad part of Hollywood showed up.
My agent called me up, and they said, we had the same agent, me and Mencia, and the agent said that I had to apologize. And I said, first of all, I'm not going, if you're insinuating that I should apologize to him or we're not going to work together, well, our decision's already made. I'm not going to apologize, and we're not going to work together because you asked me to apologize to someone who steals.
He used all his power he could to try to squash Joe.
Even me, a guy who was on Fear Factor, a guy who was relatively successful, still lost my agent, still got banned from the Comedy Store. That's why people don't call people out.
The banning of Joe in this club was a genuine fuck up because he stood for what was good.
And so Red Band did a show. I think he's called it Joe Rogan Returns. It was like the most emotional I think I've ever been before going on stage ever. And then I just did my set, had fun, and then I was back. And I said, all right, I'm back.